Hey guys, it's Jake, and today we're taking a look at the One Kit Wonder Aggressive Rock Library by Getgood Drums. So for anyone who's unaware, Getgood Drums is a VST and plugin company started in 2016 by Adam Nolly Getgood. You might be familiar with him for being the former bassist in Periphery. You might also know him from his mixing career. He's mixed bands like Periphery, Archetype, and Haken, just to name a few. A few months ago, they launched their One Kit Wonder line, starting with the Modern Fusion kit, which I've demoed and I'll link down in the description below if you want to check it out. But the driving idea behind these was to create VST for songwriters. If you don't want to mess around with mixing your drums or sitting there and messing with all the faders to get an inspiring sound, then this is the plugin for you. You just turn it on and it's good to go. Another benefit to this plugin is that it's much lighter on CPU than other GGD libraries. Kits like the Invasion and Periphery 4, while they do sound great and offer a lot more variety than these plugins, are very heavy on CPU, especially when you start mixing them. The One Kit Wonder series sounds mix ready out of the box without the CPU load. Alright, so let's jump into Logic and we'll see everything that comes with the Getgood Drums One Kit Wonder Aggressive Rock Pack. So jumping into Logic right here, pretty basic setup as far as the mix for this demo goes. 2 guitars, one left, one right, bass, and the drums. So as far as the drums go, the only thing outside of the plugin that I'm using is this Shadow Hills compressor by Brainworks. I'll just turn that off right here so you can hear what it sounds like normally. But other than that, everything that you're hearing is just the plugin. So solo this. And alright, so this is what you'll see when you first open the Aggressive Rock library. It's a pretty small kit. Got one kick, a snare, a rack tom, a floor tom, hi-hat, 2 crashes, a ride, splash, and a china. You've also got a mixer here at the bottom so you can set the levels for everything, and then if you go into balance, you can set how much of each drum is going to each individual mic. So if you want less room mic in your kick, you can adjust that. If you want less of, if you want reverb on your snare, you can add that into taste. Same thing with the tom and everything. Overheads, you can sort of mix your cymbals together, get the bit level right. Same thing with the room and with the mono. You can also route these out by clicking down here. You have 16 outputs, and yeah, so if I do that, and then you can either mix them in Contact or you can mix them in your DAW. I didn't do any of that just because I wanted to show you guys what it sounds like if you're just using the plugin. So, yeah, we also have CPU scaling over here. High is the heaviest on your CPU, but you get the highest audio resolution, medium, and then low. With low, you also lose the ability to do the parallel compression. Medium, you get to do both, though. And then you also have a overall volume and a reverb setting. So going back over here, we have a parallel compression and a master EQ. For anyone that doesn't know what parallel compression is, essentially you send the sound that is coming from your drum bus to a separate bus. And then you usually put a compressor on there. Usually you have it set pretty aggressively. It's going to be pumping and just smashing it a lot. So it's going to sound pretty unpleasant on its own, but if you blend it to taste, it just makes your drums sound a lot punchier and helps them cut through. So here's it without the parallel compression. And then here's it with the parallel compression. So yeah, especially on that kick and snare, you just get a lot more attack, and it really helps it cut through in a mix. Master EQ on this is pretty simple. Here's it with it off. Just gets rid of some resonances on them and just makes the drum sound a bit cleaner. And yeah, that's everything that you get with the One Kit Wonder Aggressive Rock. You can also control your mappings here. There's a velocity curve, so if you want things to get harder faster or harder slower in terms of that, you can adjust that here. And yeah, 127 and 1 are still the same, but in between it just kind of messes with how hard things are. Here's the groove player, so if you have any grooves that you want to hear, you can have that set up here. So yeah, here's one from the Matt MIDI pack. Yep, you can just kind of play any MIDI grooves that you happen to have through there. Then there's the about. And yeah, that's everything. As far as mix goes, like I said, I have the Shadow Hills compressor going on these, which just kind of does more of what the parallel compression is doing. Just kind of glues everything together, makes it a little bit louder, and also makes it hit a bit harder. And that's everything that I did. If you're curious about guitar tones, that's the Archetype Nolly Amp 3, and then the bass is a compressor running into the Darkglass B7K plugin by Neural DSP. And yeah. So overall, my impressions on this compared to the other One Kit Wonder, I am more of a fan of this one. The kit's a bit smaller, you have one less tom, and you don't have a stack option, but in my opinion, the drums themselves just sound a lot closer to what I'm looking for when I get a drum sound. They're punchy, in your face, and just big sounding. While the One Kit Wonder Modern Fusion is a little bit more pulled back, a little bit less compressed sounding, and yeah, just overall less metal sounding. If I had to compare this library to one of the other libraries that's already in the Getgood drums range, I would say this is pretty similar to the Modern and Massive library. It's a smaller library with a similar setup to how Modern and Massive is, and it also sounds pretty similar to process samples from Modern and Massive. Overall, I'm a really big fan of this line of products from Getgood drums. I've used Invasion and Modern and Massive plenty, and I have started to use the One Kit Wonder series for writing when they came out with the Modern Fusion line. But with this, it really gives me that polished, punchy, modern metal and rock drum sound that I usually go for without any load on my CPU, so while I'm writing, it already sounds killer. The only complaints I really have are with the size of the kit. I know it's supposed to be a smaller and more streamlined kit, but the difference between the rack tom and the floor tom is pretty minuscule. If you want to do any linear fills, it doesn't really sound like you're hitting two different drums. It almost sounds like you're just hitting two floor toms. So I would have liked the rack tom to either be higher pitched or for there just to be another rack tom. The other thing I am missing is a stack. I don't use stacks too much, but it's always a nice option to have, and I know a lot of people who are in the modern metal and progressive scene do use stacks. But overall, I really enjoy this kit a lot more than I did the last kit. It just sounds more inspiring to me and the kind of music that I write. And in my opinion, it sounds better in a final mix. But once again, if you do want to make that comparison for yourself, I'll leave a link in the description down below where you can check out the One Kit Wonder Modern Fusion as well. Alright, that's it for me, guys. If you're interested in this library, Getgood Drums is having an introductory price for it right now. You can get it for, I believe, $20 off if you're seeing this video when it comes out. And if not, I'll still leave a link down below to their website where you can check out this library. If you like any of the music that you heard, I'll leave a link to my band down in the description below. And if you want to follow me anywhere, I'll leave a link to my social media down below too. And if you like what you saw today, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I'll be posting more content soon. That's it for me, guys. Have a good one.